As a business owner, when I wanted to make more money, I hired some marketing expertise. But what if I'm focusing on the wrong thing and I actually should be focusing on me? Today, business coach Katharyn Harvey is going to share how she helps skyrocket profits for her high profile clients so you can do the same. It's time to get excited because you can achieve that magical combination of happiness and productivity that you've been craving. That voice that says you can't, or not now, is total mind BS.
I tell my clients all strategy works. There's a million business coaches out there with a million, like, we have to do this, you have to do this. It's content, it's your sales page, it's your copy, it's blah, blah, blah. You can have all of those things in place. What really makes the difference between people who are successful in business is how well they do their inner work. It's their self-mastery. It's not just their self-leadership, although that's a part of it. It's the degree of peace that they can hold within themselves, the degree of safety, how much they've healed from their past. Everyone has varying degrees of trauma, if you will, adverse past experiences. My zone of genius is the healing work, because I know that once we get your inner environment like good, once you're feeling in harmony, in peace with yourself, anything you do in life is limitless.
Wow, that is truly empowering. It sounds like it's very obvious where we need to focus our energy in order to achieve success in so many areas of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this client. You mentioned that you had a client who came to you this summer and you helped her to skyrocket her success. What did that look like when
Yeah.
she came to you? And how did you help her?
Yeah, I love this client. She's amazing. So she's brilliant at business. I do zero strategy with her. People need different things. She came to me. She literally said in her application, I know that there is a level of business or a level of success in my business that I am not reaching. And I know it's because of who I am being. I know it's because of these past adverse experiences, childhood experiences. I know it's my mindset. I know it's my nervous system. She came to me with a lot of negative self-talk, with a lot of dysregulated nervous system, anxiety. She's overworking. She had built this incredible business, incredible in the terms in the way that it was successful. She was bringing in a lot of money, but she was working 12, 16, 18 hours a day. She's an Enneagram 3, which, if you're familiar with the Enneagram, that is the achiever. And the core of the Enneagram 3 is that I'm achieving because I believe consciously or subconsciously that my worth and value is somehow measured by the things that I'm achieving. So she's kind of achieving in her life, and she achieved a lot, but kind of running away from her past, running away from her feelings, running towards this worth, this validation, even if it was just internal validation with these goals, with these successes, with these businesses. So she came to me, she's like, I've created a monster in my business. I feel awful. And I know that there's so much that's possible for me. I don't know how to get there. And she had seen my videos. I do a lot of lives around just how to heal. They're the like little mini master classes if you check out my Instagram. And she's like, I found you on Friday. I binged your content all weekend. And by Sunday night, she was DMing me. She was like, how do I work with you? So she was hitting around, I think 50 to 70K months in her business, which
Wow.
is amazing, of course. But she was like, I know there's a level that I'm not hitting. So with her, we went deep in 3 areas. These are the areas that I go deep with all of my clients. Out of all of the healing work that I've done on myself with other people, all of the certifications I've gained, I have found that there are really just 3 core places that we need to go to that really changes everything. There's only 3 core wounds slash core desires. They're just the opposite of each other. So everyone needs to feel safe. Everyone needs to feel like they belong, and everyone needs to feel like they are good enough, like they're worthy. So safety, belonging, and worthiness, those are the three core wounds. And she had all of them. And they were all playing out in her business. The safety has to do with the nervous system dysregulation, the overworking and the coping, kind of running from the feelings. And the belonging had to do with saying yes to too many clients, putting too much on her plate, kind of people pleasing. And the worthiness was kind of encapsulating the entire thing. If I have a successful business, if I have this successful brand, then I'm successful, then I'm good enough, when really your inherent worth and value has nothing to do with anything that you could ever achieve or not achieve in this life. So we healed some trauma. We went back in time. We call it search and rescue. She had some significant adverse experiences from childhood with her parents, with her family, that created deep wounds around feeling unloved, feeling not good enough, feeling like she couldn't relax, like she wasn't safe. Within 4 months, so we started in January, within 4 months, I basically stopped hearing from her. I was like, hey, you good? We have a 1-year contract together. And at the beginning, she was like, I don't know if a year is enough. She's like, I feel like we're going to need a few years because like this shit is deep. And I was like, we'll start with a year. I'm pretty sure a year is going to be good. So at 4 months, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And she's like, oh, yeah, sorry. I'm doing amazing. Like she wasn't reaching out because she was doing so well. She was like, yeah, I just haven't needed you.
Wow.
At month 6, she hit her highest month in business ever. This was just last month in July 2024. And she hit $100,000 sales in her business. And in the call, when she was telling me this, she said straight up, this would not have happened without you. This would not have come into fruition without the work that we have been able to do together. She is the happiest she's ever been. She's the most peaceful she's ever been. She's working the least that she ever has. She's literally working like 4-6 hours a day. She's like, I thought this was a fantasy. So
Wow.
like I thought people were lying when they said like, oh, I sold $100,000 and I work 4-6 hours a day, 20 hours a week. She's like, I literally work 20 hours a week now. And she didn't even, this program that she sold, she didn't even launch it. She just sent some private messages. And yeah, all her clients, I think it was like a $20,000 package. And she was like, I never would have had the courage, the bravery to charge these prices, to sell it in this way. She's like, I didn't even do any graphic design. I just sold it naked, is what she said. And she's like, I feel so good.
Wow. That is such an amazing and inspiring story. And these are really deep core wounds like safety, belonging, and worthiness.
Yeah.
Those are huge. And most of us expect to spend years and years and years
Yeah.
working through those traumas and all of those wounds that
Mhm.
show up in all sorts of weird ways today. So, what do you do that's different that helped her fast track that in just a couple of months?
Yeah. So the theme of the series for you is somatic work. And I do a lot of somatic work. I also do mindset. It's really all kind of encapsulated in one session. Each session is like 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what we're getting into. So it's very different in versus therapy, because one, you have a lot more time. Therapy is usually like 30-45 minutes. You're just kind of in and out. And therapy is really great for awareness, but what do you do with all that awareness? You're just like, I know all of the chaos inside of my mind. I know all of the neuroses, all of the patterns. So in my work, I have 4 steps: explore, express, embrace, embody. So explore is the awareness. We have to know what we're working with. Express, well, we have to express it. We have to let that part speak. We have to feel what is already here to be felt. That is basically what therapy does really well. What therapy does not do really well is the embracing portion. So embracing is when we are bringing the exact medicine that particular part, maybe it's a memory from when you're 9 years old and your parents are yelling at you and you're feeling unsafe. Well, we then have to bring safety to that 9-year-old who felt unsafe. If that 9-year-old felt unworthy, then we would have to bring unworthiness. If it felt embarrassed, like it didn't belong, like it was being, you're being bullied, you're being made fun of in the class, well, then we have to bring belonging and acceptance. So I also used to be a nurse, so I think of things in terms of like, what's the prescription? Like, what's the emotional prescription? What's the medicine that we need? What's the wound care? Here's the wound, and we need different wound care for different kinds of wounds, but it always comes down to either safety, belonging, or worthiness. In safety, the word safety might not resonate for you. Maybe it's security, maybe it's peace. Peace is an offshoot of safety. Maybe it's reassurance. We're the same with worthiness, same with belonging. It might not exactly resonate for you, but think of these like trees of a trunk. It's like, these are the only categories. So the way we do that somatic is just sensations. It's feelings. It's feeling based. It's very similar to emotions. You can't really have sensations generally without also having emotions. So it's never like we're just doing somatic work. It's all quite intertwined. It's like art when we're in a session. But you're bringing the feeling, the sensation of safety. Like if you close your eyes right now and you think the word safety in your mind and you feel safety, you can evoke the sensations of safety. You feel it?
I do.
So if there's a part from your past that was feeling unsafe, all you have to do is evoke safety and bring that to that part. Now it gets more complicated. Sometimes there's resistance. Sometimes it's like, we have to troubleshoot things, but in general, that's what it is. We have the wound. What's the specific wound care we need?
This is amazing, but I'm so curious, how did you discover this? And so both discover that, this technique with the 4 E's and how it applies to business, because most people don't link those two together.
I know. So I used to have bad anxiety, depression, insomnia, body dysmorphia, inner criticism, like all of the things. I was a nurse for 7 years and it really fucked me up. It made me sick mentally, emotionally, nervous system was super dysregulated, all of it. And I had stuff from my past. I had trauma. My mom died when I was 7.
Oh.
My best friend died in high school. I've had a lot of death in my life at a young age. I never really felt like I belonged in school. I was always kind of the weird one, always kind of the one that was different. And those are, like lower level traumas, but they stay with you and they affect like every social interaction that you ever have. It's like just that part in the back of your mind that's like, oh, they don't like me. Oh, I'm different. So I had all of this shit. And I was one day basically just like, I gotta do something about this. I'm not happy. I used to be happy. I remember there were times as a child I was happy. It's not like I'm incapable of being happy. I've been there before, but it's been so long. What do I do? And I didn't have someone like me. I wish I had. And I kind of wish I didn't, because it took me years of a lot of trial and error. I read books, listened to any resource, any material that I could. It was like a full-time job that I wasn't getting paid to do, but I had a real passion for it. And along the way, I started discovering things that actually work. Now, there's a lot of things in books and podcasts and seminars and things that don't work. I basically tried everything. I started just compiling the data, stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work. I put it into a course and I was like, oh shit, I guess this is what I need to do now. So I left my job as a registered nurse And for the last 3 years, full time, I have been coaching and healing people. Now, I wasn't always directed towards entrepreneurs and directed towards business. That's a passion that has come like more recently within the last year. For the first couple years of my business, I was really just helping people create inner peace. That's what people would come to me for. Like, I have anxiety. I have a client with multiple personality disorder. He has a lot of trauma from his past. And we've been working together for a year. He's an older gentleman. He's in his 60s, and his parts have literally changed. He's like, I used to have this part. I haven't seen him in a long time. He doesn't come out anymore. And it's because we healed that wound so deeply that he's just reintegrated into the whole, and don't necessarily need to go on a whole tangent about multiple personality disorder, but it really is, it's basically just parts work, which is a lot of what I do. Some people have heard of parts work through IFS, internal family systems. That's a specific system. I don't subscribe to that. But I do a lot of parts work. We all have multiple personalities, but someone with actual multiple personality disorder has a significant amount of trauma. And I don't claim to be an expert, but I can see from working with this person for over a year that these are just different parts, just like everyone else has. They're just more prominent, and they come out oftentimes involuntarily, but they're not bad and they're not wrong. They're just wounded. They're hurt. So the same principles apply. Here's the wound. What's the wound care that we need? So to answer your question more directly, I healed myself.
Wow. Cool. So this sounds amazing. The journey that you went through and the fact that you've moved on in order to help other people. And so tell us about how people can get a hold of you so that they can heal themselves too.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, you can find me on Instagram. It's Katharyn_Suzanne, and just send me a message. Whether you're looking for one-to-one coaching or a group program, sometimes I host group programs here and there. I'm happy to have a conversation with you and point you in the right direction. And if you would like to work one-to-one together, my one-to-ones for this year are pretty much full. I have maybe 1 to 2 spots left, but there's an application in the link in my bio, and I'll give you the link for that as well. And I work with people privately for 6 or 12 months, because that's really the length that we need to deeply transform the inner and the outer. And it's a lot of fun. I love this work, and it's my passion. It's my zone of genius. It's I call it my ministry. And this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah, I can hear your passion and I can feel your genius. Absolutely. So I'm going to put all of those links in the description if you want to get hold of Katharyn. But you also have a guide to inner peace. Tell us more about that.
It's called Freedom from Stressful Thoughts. So this is a process that I have synthesized from a lot of different people's work over the years. If you get good at this, now there's a little bit of a learning curve with any kind of process that you're going to learn. I should be paying for, or I should be charging for this. You should be paying for this. This is a extremely high level, effective tool that combines mindset, emotional, and somatic work. I do this on myself regularly, like multiple times a week. And it starts with just one thought. So thoughts create emotions and sensations, feelings, and then those feelings create literally everything in our life, the way we see life, how we interact with life, how we interact with people, what we do, what we don't do, everything. Whether you know it or not, your life is completely shaped by your feelings, period. So we have to get really good at working with the mind, at working with thoughts. So we take one thought, maybe they don't like me, and we take it all the way through this process. For me, it only takes about 10, 12 minutes. For you, it might take more like 30, 40 minutes when you're getting used to it. This is like spiritual Xanax. This is more effective than anything I've ever found. Binging Netflix, binging whatever, ice cream, even working out, even being social, like hands down, this is the most effective process I have ever come across / created for freedom, for creating inner
Well,
peace.
yes, I am going to get me some spiritual Xanax.
Yeah.
You got to grab the link below, get your free guide on how to create inner peace. And Katharyn, thank you so much for being with us today. Before we sign off, is there any last words that you want to leave our audience with today?
You know, what I always say to this question is like, you can do it. I know it's hard, whatever you're going through. I've gone through hard shit too. You just need the tools. You just need the tools. It doesn't make life easy, but it changes your relationship with life. There's a difference between ease and easy. We can never control life, but we can absolutely have dominion over our thoughts, over our emotions, and therefore our relationship with life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Bye.
My life is a total B word. Balanced. Subscribe below and let's see if your life can be the same.